Do you ever feel like you were going in through the outdoor? Or, let's see, going up the down staircase, maybe? Or maybe even driving on the right way side of the wrong side of the street? What? Where am I going with this? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I think I'm still standing at the station. The train's gone, and here I am, and here you are. So, oh baby, where are we? Well, we're at the gates. We are at the gates to the return to the Perfumed Gardens. Whew, and I'm so welcoming you back in such a warm and welcoming fashion. You know, with your host, that piece of toast with the jelly side up, me, Rik Strange. Woo-hoo, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. Oh, well, here comes here comes an insanely passed over dust bunny from my shelves by somebody you know. His name is David Gilmour. Oh, yeah. It's his first solo effort from 1978. Now, let's talk a little bit here. This LP, to yours truly, Mr. Opinion, I find it to be a solid core piece of work, baby. I mean, it was coming out before the wall. Not one of my favorites. And After Animals, so-so. Okay, my opinion, don't hate me. But if you do, you're dialing in, so who cares? Whoa, this puppy is his best output without the Floydsters in tow. I'm going to start with the opening track from the LP, and the track is called Milhalis. And let that black Fender Strat do all the talking. We can pick up the particles on the way back. Doodly doop boop doo. Floating away I am, baby. Let's look at this thing here. This is his effort, and it's a gatefold. It's a gatefold. If that makes any difference, I don't know. There's some old shots of him when he was in the Joker's Wild, which was we'll talk about them in a second. There's the back, big deal. Anyway, this, let's see. Oh. Well, how should I start this? Well, there ain't no mistaking his propensity for note bending, you know? Dig that. You can tell it's him all the time. His two cohorts on this in this combo that he's playing with, it's just a three-piecer, are Rick Wills and Willie Wilson. I was going to say Willie Nelson, but well, I can imagine Willie playing in that band, but that wasn't him on that record. It's Willie Wilson. And those are two of his old buddies from the Joker's Wild, which we spoke about, which is the vintage 1966 version, prior to his being asked to join the Floyd. And so anyway, on this particular LP, you can hear chunks of Obscured by Clouds, that kind of textured playing. And then you can even hear a little bit of Wish You Were Here, slamming through the Excursion to Euphoria. Ooh. You know, there you go, gardeners. I like this platter. I want to talk a little tiny bit about all of his other solo artifacts. This is the first one that he did in a long, long time. He did one in the 80s that I didn't like it at all. It was his second LP. This one is a really good piece. It's called On an Island, and it was released in 2006, I believe. Very good, very good. This one was in 2015. It's a double. Not so much. It's a good album, but I don't know. He's getting real mellow here, and that's fine. That's where you're going. More power to you. But this particular first one, this one was running on high octane fuel, baby. Okay, you bargain basement crate diggers out there, you know, this one is available. You can find it. It's out there, and it's you can get it for inexpensive. And it doesn't necessarily have to have a punch in it because they didn't overproduce it. Okay, so rounding the corners next, is a New York State conglomeration called the Tea Company. Now, Tea was another code name for Mary Hurama. You know, that's a new one to me. It must have been a local thing, you know, some kind of gibberish that they come up with. Who cares? Any which way, it tells you their musical ideology and what it was all about on this here El Bloma. So they were, they spoiled out of the 60s, around 65, and they were called the Naturals. They were a Beatles-based matchup, lots of harmonies and, you know, tuneful experiences with looking for your girlfriend and my heart's broken and all that kind of stuff. So after partaking some tea, they slid into a more experienced state of mind, and Bob's your uncle. We get the Tea Company. So, boinging out with a tunester called Flowers, let us peruse the smoke-filled trail out of the psych den towards enlightenment ourselves. So hang on to your dreams, and whenever you can, grab any reality on the way back, and I'll be there waiting for you, kiddies. Blokes, what's not to like there? This ain't your regular tea and sympathy, baby. These flowers are blooming in my mind. Oh, let's look at the record. Here we go. This is an original press song. Let's see. We might be able to dig the sleeve out. It's on Smash. And of course, they were most of the time. Ha! Add an ED there. It's a cool thingamajinger. So let's see. All right, let me see now. That blown fuse that we just played. Well, man, he's got some really interesting Beatle-esque overtones, I should say. Lots of vocals, lots of musical meanderings that the Beatles were doing around that period. This one's a cool one. It's a good groove. It's got heavy vocals on the whole LP, and there's like a fuzzy groove to it sometimes too. There's only one song that I would. Oh gosh, they do a really lame version of "You Got Me Hanging On," but that's okay. The rest of the record is good. You know, what can I say? Buy this one if you can find it. Oh, anyway, so Let's see, what do I want to say now? All right. Listen, people. I know, before we get going here on this next one, that, you know, what we got here is something that is truly, and I know you've heard this, even from myself, it's a long-lost psych rockin' treasure war for sure, man. A long-lost one. Now, I know it sounds pretty much like a Madison Avenue sales pitch there, trying to, you know, get the platters out there on the street by the pound, but this time it's true. It's true. It's true. Hoo-hoo! I'm talking about a crowd over the Bay Hills, that away from where I'm sitting, from San Francisco, who will be known from here on in as Frumious Bandersnatch. Okay, where did that name come from? Well, Lewis Carroll wrote a book called The Jabberwocky. I hope I'm correct so far. And there was a character or characteries in the book called Frumious Bandersnatch. Well, these days, here we go again. Early start to the lip problem. These day trippers coagulated from teen bands in the 64 period, I think. 64, 63, 65, early on, you know, the Beatle thing. And although they were not far from the LA scene, they didn't necessarily glam onto that sound, but let me tell you, they didn't lack any of those vibes floating across the airwaves and the hills. When I say San Francisco vibe, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a jammin' Quicksilver kind of a thing, and a dead blend that was, so ingratiating in these electro-tone benders' minds that it is representative in a very good fashion. Let me show you what I speaketh of with a cut called Woodrose Syrup. I'll keep the lamps trimmed and burning, and you just come on back later on, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. That, my gardeners, is a hypnotistically adventurous thing from the far side. I'd say, shall I elaborate? Yes, I shall! And I'm gonna do it with another dose of goodness from the same record platter disc. And this one's called Can of Bliss. Like can of bliss. That's how it is. Hold fast, because this one starts at lightning speed and then hits hyperdrive after about 10 minutes. So, jump on the bus or be left at the corner, baby. Well, that's something to tell, Mama. Whew, let's look at this bad boy here. This is, what this is 1968 demos only. It's it's on lavender vinyl. Oh boy. Anyway, be that as it may. Let's talk about this for a minute. You know, we're talking about a real swirling crash and bang here, baby. It's a tough time dropping the needle down anywhere on this LP because they do these long pajama jamming pressure washers that the whole thing, it just, you could see where they were at in the studio. They were trying to dress to impress and with their talent, and you know, being that these are considered second generation of the area, the Bay Area sound in '68, doesn't get lost here. I mean, what you got is 6 demos for Capitol Records. They went in, they got the offer to record for them. Previously, they had put money together and done an EP, which you ain't never gonna find, because I think there was, I don't know, a couple hundred copies or what. And unless you've invested in a lot of Romulan rubles or you got a buttload of bitcoins, you ain't getting it. Anyway, getting back to the Columbia fiasco, they did this thing, and you know, but there was no dice with the stuffed shirts at the home office. You know, they didn't see that, you know, that hit single. You know, there's more to these cookies, but I'd say check them out for yourself. This was a grail for me. I don't usually say that. If it needs a word, that's it. I've been looking for that one for a while, and luckily it didn't break the bank. These guys are really talented. What's the most important thing to remember here? This band is lots of talent. There's 2 cats on here. Oh boy, what are their names? Oh man, you'll have to Google it because it'll tell you online. I think one of them is Jack King. He played drums, and somebody else. Wow, Bobby Winkleman maybe. They actually were in the original version of, here comes that word that I don't like to say, Journey. Whoa. But they got the boot after the first LP, and so be it. Better left unsaid. Anyway, this is a cooking LP. The only thing there's a bit of a drawback is, but it was demo time, and it was on that cut that we just played. I need to remind myself of what it was, and it was Cannabis. Near the end, there's a, oh gosh, there's a drum solo, and I think the drummer got stuck playing his snare drum for about 5.5 minutes. Sorry, pal. That stuff, yikes. Ginger Baker, you'll pay for it someday. Anyway, what can I say? Nothing else left to say, because we're rounding out this whole fiasco of twirling across the room. Comes forth with a psych popish kinda wave adjuster by a guy named Mike Condello. Now he comes from Brooklyn, moving to Phoenix, and by the age of 14, can you dig that? He was a Perot from Dover in a house band, multi-instrumentalist, and by 20, age 20 Earth years, he'd already spewed out multiple records on multiple labels. Can you dig that? I mean, that's some cool stuff. Well, I need to stop the room from spinning for a bit. And so let's dive into this tunester called All You Need from the 1968 LP called Phase 1. Hopefully noggin will stop, my noggin will stop throbbing by then. Who knows, but I'll wait for your return over there. Well, yes, indeedy doody, daddy. WHOT 1330. Oh, forget that. I don't know where that's coming from. Anyway, man, this LP jumps around in musical styles like an Olympic ping pong player trying to catch a backhand over the table. There's a lot to consume here. Here's the recorder. Hope you can get that. And he's got his smiling face on the back. This is Sunday's reissue. The second guitarist on this LP is a guy by the name of William Spooner, and he would go on to start the Tubes. If anybody's into that, you know, White Punks on Dope. Down the road some years. But Mike plays, I mean, he's multi-instrumentalist, but he does have, you know, a bass player and a drummer and a keyboard on the thing on the record, but he does also play those as add-ons. And you know, he does everything but the kitchen sink. Cool LP. It starts out a bit laid back. I mean, not a bad tune, but laid back. But winds up on the wrong side of the tracks, you know, dig it? I'm talking about it. You know, where they would play that honky-tonk music, you know? You got it. You know what I'm talking about. Nice add-on here. I'd say it's a good record to get. I found it very enjoyable, and I've played it multiple times, and it may become a regular on the pile by the turntable. Who knows? Well, nice add-on, like I said. Find it, get it. So, gardeners, before we shock the monkey, let's speak of our melodic bumpus interruptus for today. It's the lilting and uplifting soundtrack to Aliens by James Homer and the London Symphonic Orchestra, no less. Dooba dooba. Hold your pinky up when you're drinking your tea. Woohoo! You know, I love them soundtracks. Little sidebar here. You know, I have friends that are xenomorphs, and they get a bad rap. I mean, they don't kill everybody and impregnate them that they run into. I mean, it's just on occasion. And, you know, one bad apple spoils the whole pack. What can I say? Swine. Woohoo! Oh, so anyway, don't you know what I'm talking about? Maybe you don't, because I sure don't. Hey, saying hi to some of my buds out there in the old vinyl community. Oh, baby. Hey, Stoner. Stay the course, baby. Keep them crates a-rattling. We're looking forward to those Sunday mornings going down. And we all like the goat. Goat's good. And 2 characters up in the work. Jeez. And then the old top. You know. But there's a PS I'm going to add on here. And it's gone, baby, gone. I'm gonna take a solar journey soon to visit a surprise guest. Oh, the anti-pasteurization on that one. I can't wait. Boy, that's going to be a good meeting here. Oh, so, here's a little tip. Keep dropping the needle and playing them loud, baby, till the twain shall meet. We are all one. Peace, gardeners. Peace.